Odds come in life, but self-confidence drives everything in this world. Let me tell you a story around this. She was a volleyball champion. In 2011 she was traveling from Lucknow to New Delhi. Arun Amit got on the general compartment of the Padmavat Express. The crowd was crushing, but she squeezed herself into a corner seat. Some 4 or 5 thugs gathered around her and started pulling her gold chain gifted to her by her mother. Being a single female traveler, they thought her an easy prey. When she refused to hand over the chain, they started coming at her one at a time. Aruna kicked, punched and fought as best as she could. For a brief moment, it even seemed she had the upper hand. The compartment was full of people, but no one came to the rescue of a girl being robbed and attacked. Since they couldn't take her on one at a time, each grabbed a limb and hauled her out of the train. She flew into an oncoming train and the force threw her onto the opposite tracks. What happened thereafter took a matter of seconds. Before she could move her left leg off the track, a train went over it. The night that would end. 49 trains had passed her by as she lay wrecked and bleeding on the tracks. Rodents would come and feast on her oozing wounds, scampering off when trains came. She kept screaming in pain. She never thought she would survive that night. But when morning dawned, renewed hope surged through her. Next morning when the lads came to take a dump, the sight of her mangled body greeted them. She was to be taken to the Bareilly District Hospital. Her leg had to be amputated from below the knee immediately to prevent gangrene from setting in. She was losing blood alarmingly. The hospital staffs were severely encumbered by the lack of supplies, but did everything in their power. One of the pharmacists, P.C. Yadav, donated his own blood because there was none to spare. While she was fighting for her life, unbeknownst to her, outside she had become a media sensation. Newspapers and TV channels picked up her story and reported on the gory details. It is outrageous that a young girl traveling alone can be thrown off the train just like that. Both the UP and the national government got involved. Initially her story was being pawned by the state and national governments because of the sympathy votes it could help garner. Then it took a murky turn. When her story captured national attention, questions began to be asked that who was responsible for her accident and who all should be held accountable. It's not that someone was out to get her, but everyone wanted to save themselves. First stories started circulating that she was traveling without a ticket and had jumped to avoid being caught by the ticket collector. CCTV footage showed Arun Amit standing in a queue to purchase the ticket. With this theory invalidated, even louder claims that she wanted to commit suicide started doing the rounds. Lying there on the hospital bed, when she was at her weakest and most vulnerable, she felt helpless to defend herself and her family against this onslaught. Her left leg was amputated. A rod was inserted in her right leg, from knee to ankle, to hold the shattered bones together. As she started recovering, she pondered on the most impossible dream she could set for herself. She decided to climb the Everest. Usually amputee patients take months, or even years, to get accustomed to their prosthetic limbs. Aruna walked in 2 days. Straight out of the hospital she went to see Arun Pal, the first Indian woman to climb Everest. Aside from her immediate family, she was the only person to not dismiss Aruna's mission. But Arun Pal didn't sugarcoat it either. She told her, "Aruna, in this condition you made such a huge decision. Know that you have already conquered your inner Everest. Now you need to climb the mountain only to show the world what you are made of." She did a basic course from the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, NIM, the best school of its kind in Asia. This was followed by 18 months of rigorous training. She climbed smaller, but no less dangerous mountains, had a couple of near-death experiences and underwent mind-numbing, exhausting, spirit-crushing pain. She initially was supported with a grant from Unum. Then Tata Steel provided her with a generous sponsorship that let her focus exclusively on the impossible task that lay ahead. On 21st of May 2013 she reached the Everest summit. Earlier her Sherpa, guides, helpers during mountaineering, had informed her that oxygen supply was critically low. He also advised her, save your life now so that you can climb Everest again later, but, she said, if I don't climb Everest now, my life will not be worth saving. She erected the flag of Mother Country India on the peak, deposited some pictures of my idol Swami Vivekananda next to it. Then she used the last vestiges of oxygen to take pictures and videos of herself on the peak. She knew she was probably going to die. So it was important that the visual proofs of her achievement make it down to the world. 50 steps later, her oxygen finished. But fortune favors the gritty. As she lay suffocating and gasping for breath, she came across an extra cylinder of oxygen. Her Sherpa quickly latched it onto her. Slowly they got on the precarious downward climb. Far more deaths occur on the downward climb than the upward one on Everest, and now that she had survived the worst, it was time for her to tell her tale herself. Her expedition was successful. She then accomplished 4 more, the Everest in Asia, Kilimanjaro in Africa, Elbrus in Europe and Kosciuszko in Australia, and doing more. The lessons we learn from this story are: don't wait until everything is just right. It will never be perfect. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and less than perfect conditions. 2. With each baby step you take forward today, you will grow stronger and stronger, more and more skilled and more self-confident, and more successful tomorrow. 3. Never let odds keep you from pursuing what you know in your heart you were meant to do. 4. If you don't bet, you can't win. 5. Don't look how far you have come, just keep going. 6. Fortune favors the bold. 7. Being on the edge is not at all safe, but the view there is the best view you can get. 8. Just breathe and have faith, everything will work out for the best. 9. I will do something is better than I won't do anything. 10. Your attitude will decide your altitude. I will come back with more stories that will change your life. Have a nice day ahead. Stay tuned. Thank you.